And remember that morning after I put all the boxes on and I was like, box Miss Prime.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right. So explain to me, when you go to the bathroom at a urinal, what are you doing? Like step by step. Think about it.
Okay, walk in, open the door. If somebody's at the one on the left, you go as far right as you can.
True. Yeah.
Opposite. And then if like you always got to leave a space in between if
Right.
possible. If not, then you just go to the larger urinal. You don't go to the small one. You don't choose to go to the small one. And then you get to the urinal. I know what Joe's leading into, so I'm gonna explain it in detail. Are you saying I'm wearing jeans?
Yes. Yep.
I'm wearing jeans.
Anything with a belt.
I'm gonna undo my belt. I'm gonna unzip my pants.
Yeah.
I'm gonna zip my pants down, and I'm just gonna pull. Like my pants aren't gonna be down off my waist at all. They're just gonna be unzipped, and I'm just gonna pull down my underwear and just pee.
Okay.
Like every human in existence to ever pee.
I don't think that that's how people normally. Well, actually, I guess I did look up the study. Only 1 in 5 people do it the way that I normally do it. But my entire life, when I went up to a urinal and I had a belt on, I was just doing fly down and using the pee hole that's built into my underwear for scientific reasons.
That's unbelievable.
No, I think that that's exactly what they were designed to do. And actually, for most of my life, I went out of my way to buy underwear that had that because I thought it was such a convenient feature. So why would you not use it if you had it?
Because I mean,
see, you don't even have a reason.
No. So to explain how you pee, do you even undo your belt?
No. If I was normally peeing, all you have to do is take your fly out and then you just have the flap.
Yeah. Okay. So you unzip the fly, and then you're like pulling it through.
Yeah.
So you're pulling it through.
Well, no, there's like a flap. So like I normally there's a flap. So I guess I hold the flap open and then use like my left hand.
Right. So you're holding the flap open with one finger, like one hand, and then the other hand's on the pee-pee, and then you're just like peeing.
Yeah.
That seems ridiculous.
Why?
Because I can just one-hand it. If you just if you undo it,
well, no, don't you have to be holding your pants up with the other hand?
No.
Your pants are naturally just sitting off your hips like that?
Yes. Not everybody has king of the hill ass like Joe, dude.
Well, no, if anything, that means I'm more susceptible.
It means your pants. You mean if you took off your belt, your pants would fall off?
Yeah, 100%.
That's crazy.
Yeah, okay. So
I got a big rump, dude. That shit doesn't happen for me. My pants just stay on.
So I just got underwear that I'm wearing right now that do not have the pee hole on them. So I've been learning how to do this. And the first thing that I discovered is maybe my belt's too long or something. But whenever I undo my belt, it's like poking out like into the urinal. So
really?
How do you make sure that doesn't happen?
Mine's like sideways.
So do you hold it with your hand? So it's
I don't hold anything. My left hand is free. I could go on my phone if I want to. My right hand is just holding my pants down. Nothing. I don't even touch my pee-pee. I just pull my pants down and just pee.
So I don't understand that. So is your belt going left then? It's like it's still going like across your waist, like not the buckle side, but the other side.
Right, the other side. I mean, how long is your belt, dude?
I don't know. I mean, when I have it belted up, it's going like here.
When I undo it, it doesn't cross my body. It stays on the right side.
I don't know. Maybe my belt is too long then. Because
what I just
realized?
Like, do you think people wear their belts backwards ever?
No.
Like, do you ever think that?
I don't think
you really could if you wanted to. You could just start putting it on.
Yeah,
the other way.
maybe it's just if you're left-handed.
I guess
you change it up. But so no, I got like super self-conscious like about because now I'm like holding my belt and it's like it feels like super uncomfortable because I'm not used to this, and also I just feel super exposed. Like I feel like I'm just opening up the whole operation to anybody else that's at the urinal. So
no, dude, you're only pulling it down just past.
No, I know, I understand that. I'm not like
and your pants are hiding everything.
Yeah,
and also
but
that's what the dividers
are flapping
for.
Open. Like my belt's kind of heavy, so like my pants are like
your pants are like flopping to the ground?
No, not to the ground, but like, they're kind of curling out because of the weight of my belt.
That's fine.
So, but I don't know. It just feels like I'm really exposing the whole operation. So I tried it a few times. Then my belt was in the urinal. I texted Noah and he was like, dude, just take a step back. And I'm like, dude, if I take a step back, everyone's going to see more of what's going on because I'm just pulling down everything now. So for the past like 4 days, probably I've went to the stall every time I had to pee.
Joe's learning how to pee again, dude.
I mean, I was using the technology, but now, dude, I swear to God, if this felt like a mental psyop that all of you guys were trying to convince me that this was normal to try and get me fired.
No, I'm pretty sure when you Google it, like you said, it's like 1
Yeah.
in 5 people do it the way that you were your whole life.
I know, but something about it just feels so innately wrong for me to just take. Dude, especially too, like now when I'm in the bathroom, I'm trying to listen. I'm like, is that person at the urinal taking off their belt? Or do they zip? What are they doing?
Everybody's taking off their belt. I promise you. I
don't
promise
know,
you,
dude.
everybody's taking off their belt.
It feels so weird, but I guess
What I will say is like it's much cleaner of an operation. If I have tried to do it the way you used to, and the thing that would I would not like is you have to like just pray that your pee-pee isn't sitting on the zipper, and like you're hoping that when you put it back in that you don't catch some zipper on it, and that would be just the worst thing to ever experience.
Dude, Braden said that too, which I have zipped up my pee-pee
Yeah.
before, but that was back when I used to not wear underwear when I was a really young child. I haven't done that in so long because how big are your guys' zipper holes? Are they not large enough to accommodate? Like, is your zipper hole ending at where you're like? Because if you're wearing your underwear, the whole of it normally it's a natural rest. Is all I'm gonna say.
If I had really loose pants on, it I might not get it through the zipper.
Okay, well that's crazy. But the only other thing I will say is I have noticed because Noah was saying that you get way more pee in your underwear if you go through the hole and bring it back in. I've gotten substantially more piss in my underwear doing it the other way.
Does it not when you do the flick at the end? Does it not get all over your pants when it's resting on your pants?
No, it doesn't. But for whatever reason, now this might just be like a me problem. Like now, whenever I bring it back in, I've noticed I bring it back in, pull up the underwear, and then I just do basically a second pee just in my underwear. Maybe it's just because I'm so nervous that
That is crazy. I would not think anything about what other people are thinking about you. I don't think anybody's watching me while I pee.
Yeah,
and if they are, that's their problem.
Flashback to my first year of freshman year in high school when I went up to the urinal and some senior next to me looks at me and goes, "Nice watch," and he was just looking at my thing. It's like, dude, come on.
I've been wearing a watch.
This is what high school is like. Yeah,
just
getting sexually harassed first day.
Episode 28.
We're learning. We're growing. Episode 28. Glad to be back with you guys.
Yeah, and 28. 8 subs away.
8 subs away. We're at 92 subs. Very close to Toledo.
Yep. On that note, too, we're drinking some Toledo beers. But before we do that, put us on your TV. If you're watching us on your phone, put us on your TV. Leave it on. Put us on there. You could have it on your phone and TV, but at least get us on your TV. Tell your friends to get us on their TV. Tell your grandmas to put us on their TV and just let it run while they're doing dishes and laundry and stuff.
We have enough friends to where getting a sub should not be hard. Just hit up somebody you know pretty well and just be like, "Hey, help out my friend." That'd be much appreciated.
Hey, I'm fundraising for a charity. Oh, what's the charity? Thinking Beers charity. Subscribe to Thinking Beers.
We donate all of our money to charity. And when she's not there, we give it to Destiny. Probably said that before. But anyways, we're getting close. We got the 5K coming up. We're obviously going to Toledo once we hit 100. We got Joe Day in the works. Probably going to wait until it's a little bit warmer for that. But big things.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun year. I'm excited.
Big man ting. So Chris said.
We have Toledo beers, basically. They're from Ohio, Joe said. Joe picked these up today. I'll show the cam. I
didn't pinpoint the exact location of origin on them, but I do know they're from Ohio.
Brewdog Slush Rush, cherry lime wheat beer. It's an interesting one for sure. I always try them before. Let's revel in the rush. What does that even mean? But yeah, Joe, it does say Columbus, Ohio is where they're brewed.
Damn, that's pretty close.
I've been there before.
Columbus is the hood, bro.
So we're gonna drink them. Or we're gonna rate them on TV shows.
TV shows. Me and Chris both tried them. Chris always drinks prematurely. I'm a fan. Yeah, I got one. Have you ever seen the show Monk?
No.
You've never seen Monk?
No.
Classic detective show is about this. What do you even call that? Like a neuro. What is that called? I don't know. He's super neurotic. He had OCD incredibly bad, and that's what made him so good at solving crimes. And they were in the San Francisco Bay. So a lot of
I
the
probably
columns they
would
were
like that
solving,
show.
a lot of the crimes that they were solving were on the water and stuff. It gives me kind of like a tropical, but also kind of like a mysterious vibe. Like you're tasting it, but not fully. You got to figure out what's going on.
I'm rating it Trailer Park Boys. And the reason I'm rating it Trailer Park Boys is this tastes exactly like Natty Light. The Natty Light seltzers that came out while we were in college, this is exactly what they tasted like.
That's super disheartening because I think it was like $20 for this 6-pack. So
they're good. They're better. They feel like less of a hangover would happen.
Mm-hmm. It feels clean.
I forget pure. What flavor it was, like peach or something. I think they had. Maybe they did have cherry.
They
did have a
maybe. I only remember Natter Days that had the flamingo on it. I actually still to this day have a Natty Light Natter Days shirt with a pink flamingo on it.
You remember the guy at
Liquor Well?
He gave
Shout
us that.
Out. Unfortunately deported.
Yeah, and OWI in the parking lot of Liquor Well, but
yeah.
He gave us that sign. That was when they released. He was like, "You guys want the promo for this?" We're like, "Hell yeah!"
That guy loved us, dude.
He did, and he let Joe have a running tab on a brown bag in a liquor store, which is the most absurd thing for the Mr. Vapors, dude.
That was the other guy that eventually got fired because he let me have a open tab, and he would just write it on a brown paper bag and staple it up to the wall, and it would just say like Joe $47 because for some reason I would always like walk up there hammered or some shit. Like, I don't have my wallet, man, but you got me.
I promise I'll be back tomorrow.
Which I always did come back. I paid my debts.
Yeah, you do pay your dues.
It's like a revolving line of credit.
But no, I am here with my friend Joe, who probably has always had to pee so often his whole life because he's not getting it all out because he's going through the zipper.
No, you know what? I was thinking about this actually. You guys always say I pee incredibly fast. I was thinking though, I probably just pee fast because I'm doing it way more efficiently than all of you guys. You guys have to take off your belt, unbutton, unzip, and all these different steps. I just went in, unzipped, did my business, and was out. I was saving like 20 seconds on average.
Yeah, I'm not really in a rush when I pee. If anything, I want to take longer. Like at work, I want to be in there as long as possible.
Yeah, but
the more time I can spend in the bathroom every day, the better.
True, but I'm just saying, I think that's why you guys said that I peed fast. I'm pretty sure that's the reason. But
Do you think it's going to slow down now?
Yeah, my time is significantly down, especially because I have to wait for a stall to open up, and then I have to shamefully do everything and do it quietly so nobody knows that I'm unbuttoning and unzipping my pants.
You can't be stall pissing for longer than another week.
I know. I got to figure it out. It makes me nervous. But I'm here with my friend Chris, who is using Strava because he only knows how to step in other people's footprints.
See, Joe doesn't know what Strava is. I told him to get it right before this. But on that note, I've been running. And I've officially transferred from lifting university to running university.
Yep.
Last year, I think I honestly hit like 250 days lifting last year and just looked like shit. So I was like, clearly I'm just going in there and like not working hard. I'm just spending 2 hours in the gym.
So fat people love being like, weightlifting actually burns more calories than running. And then they just look like a fat monster.
Exactly. That was me. But I would never brag about it. And I knew I wasn't really like pushing my cardio. And I was like, I'm literally doing zero cardio. Like I would fully wait. I bought into like, you need to let your body fully rest before you do the next set. Because you get like the most out of it. So I was in there for forever and I was taking forever. I was there all the time, but I wasn't really pushing myself. Now, I mean, it sucks because it's winter here. I want to run outside so bad. I ran outside last weekend. Sucked. I got this new watch, which I'll tell you guys a little about in a second, but I went for a run outside last week and I was like doing the running fitness test that this Coros watch wants me to do. And I do it and I was like, all right, I'm going to do it outside because it doesn't want you to do it on a treadmill. You have to do all these different paces. And I start running. I'm like, I'll just stay around here. It's like Main Street in Royal Oak, Got to be cleared. It hadn't snowed in 4 days at the time. And as soon as I turn the corner by the Coney Island down the street, I am coming back down Main Street, and the whole entire sidewalk was snow, like 2 or 3 inches of snow. Every single subdivision intersection, I was jumping over 2 feet of snow piles that were pushed from the snowplow, and I was like, this is so difficult, but it was honestly so much more enjoyable to still be outside. My run went by a lot faster, and I still had a good time, and that's what I like about running is honestly, you're never going to leave a run and be like, I wish I didn't do that. So I've been enjoying it. The watch has been great. I was telling Joe before this, it's been cool. I've never tracked my heart rate before. I have an extremely high heart rate compared to where most people are at, but I've been working on it, just getting it down and running at slower paces and keeping it low for longer distance. My kind of just working on endurance more. I know we have a 5K in basically a month and a week, and I know after that I'm Not confirmed yet, but I think I might run a half marathon towards the end of the year. So what I'm doing
Such a
is
crazy
I'm
jump.
not really.
It's 10 miles more than the 5K.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is almost exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that crazy though, because I've if I'm running 6 miles on a weekend, like I just double that, and then I can be a 5K.
Well, yeah.
And I'm
All you
like,
gotta do is just double it. Like,
right, but
I mean, that's
people
pretty
have
difficult.
trained for marathons in like marathons off the couch in 12 to 16 weeks. So you're telling me I have, call it 35 weeks, and I've been training for 2 months for a 5K, and I can't? Like, I definitely can.
No, I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying, like, I respect the jump that you're making. It's just like an incredible leap.
And I was thinking, like, potentially, there's a half marathon in Toledo in April, and if we go in April, maybe I run in that. I'm not saying for sure.
And I'll just sit on the sidelines and watch you.
Well, no, I'll make Joe run it with me too.
Dude,
But
I don't know, man. I'd get so bored.
But no, I have just been thoroughly enjoying running. The watch is great. The watch has like made me buy in even more, where I care about my heart rate while I'm running now. It's easier for me to like pace myself and know what I'm doing for each run. The really cool part is I get to see my stress levels, which is kind of funny sometimes. Like, you go through a stressful situation, you're like, let me see what just happened, and it's like really bad. Your whole day it'll be at like 40, and then all of a sudden it's at like 100, and you're like, oh, my grandma's at the hospital. Like, no wonder I'm stressed, you know.
Oh,
so like
geez.
shit like that. But she's fine. It's all good. She's home now. But still, like, it's weird to see that stuff.
It's a crazy way to work that into the podcast.
I love. She was fine. She was just super dehydrated, dude. She drinks way too much iced tea.
Yeah, I think that's just a grandma thing. Because that was the same thing when I was just at my grandparents' house, and my grandma was like, I hate the taste of water. I can only drink Mountain or whatever she drinks.
Yeah, it's just.
And then she was complaining about her migraines. I was like, I think water.
Maybe you just one a day.
Yeah.
Maybe you just have one glass of water.
Yeah.
So it's been great. I'm happy about it. And the cool part too is sleep. It makes me want to sleep a little bit better because it judges me every morning. Like, here's how your sleep was. It tells you all the zones that your sleep was into. It gives you so much stats.
How do you sleep better though?
Well, it just tells you, like, you spent X amount of time in light sleep, X amount of time in REM sleep, X amount of time in deep sleep. You were awake for 5 to 10 minutes or whatever, and like, it's kind of cool to see all that.
But how do you act on that?
Well, sleep is much more important than I ever thought.
Oh yeah,
it's basically how you get all your recovery.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a recovery status, and after normally I can recover in about a day or 2 days after a long run. And it'll tell me, like, you're at 80% recovery status, and then it'll be like, in 12 hours you'll be ready for your next workout or whatever. And you can still train at, even if I'm at 80%, it's not like I have to fully listen to it. But if I get less sleep, then my recovery status won't go up as much, and like, it won't. I don't know. It's very cool. I accidentally on Monday, I was trying to figure out this app because it makes me plans for. I can select the plan, but the plan is basically catered to like what my paces are at the time. My half marathon, like, so there's that side, which I'm doing right now for a half marathon, and I have a half marathon plan going for 12 weeks. But what I originally started with on Monday, after I did the fitness test, it was like, oh, do you want a personalized training plan? And I selected it. And I did the first workout, which was like 5 miles. And I realized after I finished the workout that I was training for a marathon. And I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. So I stepped it back to the other one. But if I do a marathon training plan through this watch, is Koros is the brand. But they have a really good app that you can set up and whatever. But if I do the marathon personalized plan, it completely adjusts to like my recovery score, my sleep. Like, it'll like adjust my workouts based on everything else.
That's
what
cool.
I mean? How much did I run the day before? How much? Something else I didn't realize is like there's training loads. So like, I'm averaging like a 700 training load a week. It's funny too because I've like lifted a couple times with the watch, and my training load is like 40, and when I run for like 4 miles, it's like 600. So I'm like, oh, I definitely was not doing shit when I was lifting. But no, it's been good. I'm happy, and I'm just gonna keep it rolling.
Nice.
I know we talk about running like every single time. But
Everybody loves it, clearly, by the views diminishing every episode that we talk about it. But speaking of George Soros. Rich elite.
Rich elite.
Come on.
Topic of the day. I mean, we got multiple topics, but my topic
We
of
got
the day.
20,000 topics right here.
Epstein files released. Now, not a ton of new information, and everybody knows about the Epstein stuff. We're obviously big conspiracy theorists on the podcast, so
I mean, this isn't much of a conspiracy. This is just pretty much real stuff that's happening.
Yes, but when I first heard about this, I think it was before he died, before he unalived himself in jail.
Which, I mean, talk about conspiracies. You're just telling me like this guy that was a super huge suey risk, and the guards are just gonna leave him alone for.
Yeah, I didn't even.
So that was a whole thing. I think that they left him alone for, I think it was 30 minutes while they were doing their rounds. And while he did it, the cameras cut out shortly beforehand.
New evidence
definitely killed him.
New evidence came out today. I watched right before this, and there's cameras, like apparently the camera that was showing his cell, like you said, cut out right before. But there's another one, and you can see basically like an orange, which looks like an inmate, like walking
Trump.
Upstairs.
The orange man.
You can see like an inmate like walking upstairs right by his cell, and it was like a couple hours right before it happened, but it was not in his cell. It was like outside, and it was at 10:30 p.m. So everyone's like, how is an inmate walking around the main areas when they're supposed to be in their room? It's very like blurry. It's very faint, but you can definitely see something is there.
Hey Jeff, can you tell me a bedtime story?
So that was interesting to me, but basically I just want to do this is a normal human recap of Epstein. If you have not stayed up to date, if you have not been looking into it, here's the stuff that I personally found interesting, funny, not funny.
Yeah, funny.
Parts of it. Just very interesting that this is going on. And I think it's the reason I said funny is it's funny that it's happening during our generation. It's basically getting confirmed that these elites are eating babies while we're like in our 20s.
Shout out Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, for real. Shout out. And it also Kanye was never wrong, dude.
Yeah, true.
Kanye getting proved right these days. But essentially, the bulk of the files got released, and I forget the number, but there's like 200,000 and a bunch of photos and videos and stuff, and they're still withholding, I think, about like 20%, 30% of everything. I think what they're withholding is related to public figures that are still alive, victims that are still alive, and they don't want to like have all that come out right now. And it's weird to me that they're still redacting everything, and they're hiding, people that are still alive that are involved in.
Well, do you know, is it like a concluded investigation?
No, I think it's still going.
So that doesn't even make sense to me, because why should the government really have to release information, pertinent evidence on an ongoing investigation?
Well, that's why I think they're releasing everything that people
no longer is important.
People already kind of knew this. Nothing is like groundbreaking that just came out.
So that makes sense. People they're hiding stuff. Well, it's an ongoing investigation. You can't just release and be like, I believe Stephen Hawking is definitely the guy.
But is it because he's dead? So I don't know. I personally don't think he's dead. It's so weird how you can die. And then they also got rid of his body before the FBI showed up.
It is so weird how you can die.
That's weird. Well,
what is up? Where do you go after you die?
In a jail cell. How do you?
He hung himself. A lot of people hang themselves in jail. The bed sheets.
I don't know.
Or he either used the bed sheets or his shoelaces. I can't remember. But why would you give a guy like that shoelaces?
True.
You might as well just hand him a loaded gun and be like,
the shoelace would break if I tried to hang myself with a shoelace.
No.
But
you could do it, dude.
What we're going to talk about is interesting things that came up in the Epstein files that we just wanted to discuss and talk about and kind of go over. So, like I said, most of it is very depressing. There are, it's a lot of email threads. It's a lot of pictures and videos, and Bill Clinton's in a million of them. But what I found very sad and depressing is they found journals of the kids and diaries and just notes that they're saying. And one of the girls was had just turned 17, and Jeff had got her pregnant and was very I guess focused, you could say, on having the baby, and she did not want to have the baby. But he was I need a baby, you have perfect genes, which what does that remind you of? We're not going to say it, but reminds you of somebody else. And essentially it was like
Wait.
when I started.
Who, Hitler?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
But
Why did you want to say it?
I mean, we all know what that is. Like, hey, I need to breed with these genes and make this perfect human and da-da-da. So essentially, I was getting a little bit of that. I didn't really have that before. But what I told Joe, too, which I find a little interesting, is so he's confirmed for sex trafficking, confirmed for, basically capturing children, bringing them to this island, making them stay there. But if you already have kids, why are you trying to have babies? Right? And this is where it
There's
leads
only one
on,
reason
right?
why.
Adrenochrome.
Yeah, it's like going to the grocery market.
Right? And I watched that documentary, QAnon, Follow the Cabal. I watched that like in college, dude. Like sophomore year of college, I think I was watching that before any of this stuff came out. I think he was still alive.
Yeah.
And I was like freaking out. I think I was telling everybody to go watch it. Like, this is the craziest thing ever. And it's getting proven. I mean, it's very, very close. So there's nothing proven that he has eaten another human. But there are emails back and forth with Jeff and people that come to his island that are basically saying, like, I can't wait. Like, there's millions and millions of babies, but nothing as good as the veggie dip or nothing as good as the veggie pizza. And, like, we need veggie cream cheese for our bagels and blah, blah, blah. And, like, I can't wait to eat that later. It's going to taste so good. So very, we're not saying anything. We're not accusing anybody of anything. But that is very
we are
questionable.
They are. They're eating babies. I mean,
I think so.
100%.
And that for those who don't know, apparently if you eat baby blood, it's adrenochrome, and that makes you young.
A lot of people, I'm sure, are probably familiar with Brian Johnson. Are you? He's like a huge kind of like health influencer. Mostly, I see him a lot on Twitter, but his whole thing is longevity. How long can he extend his life and all that stuff? And he has like a 17-year-old son where he injects like his son's blood into himself and all that stuff. So I think a lot of people are familiar with that. But like Chris was saying, what's it called again? Adrenochrome, whatever it is. Yeah, that's supposedly something that's in babies' blood or maybe in like their bone marrow. I can't remember exactly where it is. But yeah, like if you eat it, it's supposed to like, just add like 10 years to your life. That's been like a huge thing for a while.
When I was watching that documentary too, there's a famous lady. I forget her name. She almost reminded me of Lady Gaga, but the way she like looked and acted and dressed and everything.
You mean Mr. Gaga?
She would like host these dinner parties and they would like eat out of human like people that were like laying on tables, and it looked so creepy. The piece that I found very interesting is there was some girl who's at a club, I think it was in Miami or something, and she kept saying like, oh, this guy was really creepy, and like he kept trying to like make out with me and talk to me, and then he really wanted me to go home with him, but I kept saying no, but he was a good time, and he was paying for drinks and blah blah blah.
And then eventually Pat left.
And then and then she was basically like, I didn't want to go home with him, but I did make out with him at the end of the night, and after I made out with him, I basically was like, all right, let's go our separate ways. It was nice meeting you. Like, I'll take your number. She got home and she broke out in this huge, think of like cold sore. Like she thought it was herpes. She went to the doctor and got tested. I'll say what it is in a second. But red rash all over her face, all over her body. She's breaking out. It's like almost like blisters. Like it's like a hard, like pus-filled blister all over her face.
Almost like the plague.
And true.
Foreshadow.
And she goes and gets tested thinking that it's like herpes or an STD or something, and they say that it's prion disease. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Prion disease.
Prion?
Prion? I don't know. But you can only get that disease if you are like, if you're a cannibal and you're eating other humans. That's how you get that disease. And that's like the main side effect from it. So,
and that man was Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Exactly.
So,
and there's videos of him like looking around. You can look this up. And he's like looking around and he looks very confused. And like you said, when you get those diseases, sometimes your brain goes too.
Brain goes, you get really shaky.
Yeah, and essentially he was like looking very confused, looking off. It's like whatever, but his lip is huge, and his face is like half like a red rash on the side. And it was just insane. But I'm gonna see if I can get some more stats on prion disease.
Yeah, my theory on this, while Chris looks that up, is I honestly think that these people are just satanic worshipers. This has been a long thing for, I mean, the entirety of religion, really. Like, if you worship the devil, you're going to sacrifice the young, and you're going to view that as a way of you paying, like, homage to who you believe in, who is the devil. So I think that's one thing. I think that they are super satanic, but I also believe that, like, when Chris talks about, like, the food and all this stuff, they were clearly very open in their emails about what they were getting at. So I don't think that they were necessarily trying to hide anything. My opinion is they were just so like screwed up in the head that they could simultaneously talk about harming children while also talking about just what they were planning on eating, at that time.
I don't know about that, dude.
I haven't read all the files. There's obviously too much for me to look into. I think that they were just so deranged that they could simultaneously have those two conversations and think nothing of it. Like something so mundane as the spread of the meal with also like harming children.
That it would be a weird concept to think about. I would not be worried about what I'm eating for dinner if that was.
But if it's such like a normalized thing to you, if this is just another day in the life to you, like it's the same way like you texted me like, hey, you want some food before we record today? Like recording to us is pretty normal, but like if eating babies was normal to us, I'd probably be like, yo, you want some grub? Like,
yeah.
I don't know if the babies were grub. Probably were grub though. According to Nicki Minaj, she did say that everybody in Hollywood is eating babies.
Yeah, it's also known as like kuru, which was a known disease that like stopped when cannibalism stopped. Basically, like
when did that stop? Or when did that start?
I don't know.
When was that happening?
I don't know. If I was a caveman, I'd probably be eating people.
You probably had to.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly,
like just too hard to catch fish.
Dude, honestly, like if the world, we talked about this, but like if the world ended right now,
yeah,
I would instantly, I'd take a chomp out of your thigh.
Remember when he said we should do that, like a topic in the future that's just like planning for the zombie apocalypse?
I think
when
we
COVID
did.
started and we were in college, we were like,
yeah,
Joe's gonna go to Wild Bill's, I'm gonna go to Rick's,
yeah,
Nick's gonna go to the liquor well, and like we're gonna.
That was like our first. Nobody thought to go to like, hey, why don't we go to like the Dick's that has guns? I was like, I'm gonna go lock down the vapes.
yeah.
So last thing though,
right? There's just one last piece that I wanted to touch on because it hit close to home, you could say. And in one of the emails, I'm not gonna explain it the best, but he.
Did you just crack that one?
You can have it. I'll crack another one.
I'm gonna try and go for an all-time go-to move.
in
chat, comment down below if you're seeing this.
We're gonna get so much foam in these because we can't. It's so hard to pour with the mics. We don't want to set the mics down, so we got you guys. But
fine.
The foam is.
I don't even know how full am I.
Oh no, you're good. You got a lot of space.
Dude, this is elite.
Zippers down. You can do whatever you want. Keep going.
Dude, are you sure?
Got a ton of space. Yeah. Keep going.
This
keep
is
going.
An optical illusion.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. All right.
Ooh, all right. So anyways, back to Epstein.
And I showed Joe the emails that were pertaining to this before, but basically he was emailing somebody about veggie cream cheese and bagels and shit. But
it was such.
He was like, "I'm busy. I gotta prepare for something at 5:30, and then a fuel explosion at 9:45."
He said he wanted like the sweet baby cream cheese.
Yeah.
Like vegetable cream cheese, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Dude, like honestly, all of you at home, go look up just like a snippet of any of the files. It's gonna make your skin crawl. Just
it's
the
disturbing.
sheer like unknown of what they could have been talking about is incredibly freaky.
It is disturbing, and it's disturbing to know that there's all these politicians and economists and very famous people that are involved. Bill Clinton's in a million of these pictures, so just very interesting. But essentially, also Stephen Hawking, dude.
Well, he was there.
But the last thing I'll say is that in these, he notes a fuel explosion.
That's where he came up with this theory
at
of the black hole.
9:45 on about
No.
It was July 16th, 2009.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know what you're talking about there.
It was a poor taste joke. I'm sorry, guys.
But he talks about a fuel explosion at 9:45, and this is at like, we'll call it, I think it was like 10 a.m. or something that they were talking about it. The same day, right in our backyard, Hazel Park, Ferndale.
Braden's house.
Right by our boy Braden, B-Man. Fuel explosion. Fuel tanker runs into car, explodes the bridge on 9 Mile by Hazel Park in Ferndale. They had to rebuild the whole bridge.
Which, how often do you hear about that?
Right, and who is even using the term fuel explosion? If you emailed the term fuel explosion the same day that one happens, you should have just go to jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that is crazy to me that happened. Also, there was an
weird
email where...
though, is like, why here? Why that? Did
I
it
guess,
ever explain it?
No, but the lady of that video that made the video I showed you, she says, so she was like, I was curious because I'm from Michigan, so she looked up Michigan, and there was like 1,000 key searches that came up when she searched Michigan in the files. So she thinks that like a lot of people were kind of coming from Michigan, or they would take people from Michigan or whatever.
Damn.
But essentially people think that
dude,
they're...
we barely got out.
But people think that, you know, it's like when people are crossing borders or so on and so forth, that's the easiest way to abduct a child, is
Just by Detroit going into Canada.
something like that. I don't know. But very interesting. We'll keep you guys posted with any new news that comes out. The other thing that I thought was kind of funny is he got an email before the Super Bowl that like the guy was basically like, Saints will win, don't worry. And then the Saints won that year. So people are saying the Super Bowl's rigged.
Well, that was...
Got the Super Bowl hat on from Detroit.
Yeah,
it is Super Bowl weekend. Super Bowl's 2 days away. But
Jerome Bus's last ride. But that was also the Super Bowl. Remember when the lights went out?
the one in Detroit? Or
No.
wait, no.
The Saints,
Wait, that's
Super
the
Bowl.
same one?
Mm-hmm.
No
So
way.
if you were going to say Super Bowl was rigged, that's a good...
Again, was that Baltimore? Or where was that? Wasn't that when Harbaugh was coaching?
Was that Saints Ravens? Was it? I
Thought
can't
it was
remember. I
49ers.
just remember like
The
the
blackout?
I just remember the lights going out and how they came out of the second half and got the successful onside kick.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But that's it on the Epstein files, and like we will keep you guys posted. I love researching that stuff. It's very fascinating to me, how people can just get away with it when you have that much power. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if people are gonna get implicated or not. But
Like Stephen Hawking.
we will keep you
We're
posted.
not implicating him, but he was definitely there and doing bad things.
It's just funny to think that Stephen Hawking was there and like just enjoying the time. Oh, the last thing we didn't talk about is he does have this creepy room on his island that's a dentist room for a kid. It's like a kid's dentist chair. And he has all these masks that are very realistic masks around the room. And they're all public figures. I should have looked up who the public figures are. They're kind of obscure ones. Some of them are actors. Some of them are like prime ministers and whatnot, and public figures or presidents of other countries and stuff. I don't know who exactly everybody is, but it was very fascinating. And people were saying that maybe he thinks that every single person in the world is acting. Every person is like, every president is acting as the president, so others will respect him as the president. And that he's acting this way and kids are acting this way. He thinks everybody's playing a role and everybody's acting a certain way. So
I think he was probably just a
fun,
deranged
fascinating
lunatic.
piece. I agree.
I don't know if you can assign that much motive or thought to somebody like that because they're obviously just deranged.
I agree, but when you're that deranged, like how are you so smart about it that you get away with it for this long and you have so many
is it
people
being
backing
smart
you
about
up?
it or is it having power?
Right, exactly.
And
they said, I don't know if it's his wife or it's his business partner, but
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine
I
Maxwell was
believe
apparently
it's
helping
business
the whole
partner? I can't
time.
remember.
And some of the kids that were talking in the journals, they were basically saying like, I want to trust her and it seems like she's helping me, but sometimes she hates me and sometimes she cuddles with me, and very, very sad, man. Like they were literally delivering birth on this island and like getting somebody there and like comforting them and like making them feel like they had to do it. And these journals are like, how am I going to go back to school? Like, how am I going to talk to people? Like, I don't know what to do. So again, very sad. But we move on and we will keep and continue reporting on it as we get more info.
True. Let's, this next thing we're going to talk about, definitely more lighthearted, but does have to do with United States power, but more in a positive way. So I was watching a video by one of my favorite economists, and he was talking about how the United States is entering its fourth empire. So the first one was all about expansionism, manifest destiny, just expanding across like the Americas, right? Like when we first came out here.
Yeah.
And then when we reached the Pacific, we had to shift gears and we were kind of like anchored down. Is a lot of like isolationism in our second empire. It was a lot during the Industrial Revolution. That's when you could think about like the Roaring Twenties when we were just like becoming industrialized, and that's how we were empowering. And then after World War II was kind of like our third empire, when that kind of stretches up into now. And like I'm sure you're familiar with it, where the United States was trying to be everywhere. We were trying to have an influence in every country, and we wanted every country to be like us. Kind of like remnant of when Trump canceled U.S. AID, where like all the support systems for all the other countries, like we wanted to have a physical presence in every other country to make them be like us. But now for America's fourth empire, Plan 2027, how the United States is moving, it kind of has like three parts, and none of them are like what we have been doing since post World War II. So the first part was talking about very much like a fortress mindset, which I'm sure like everybody is familiar with and seeing, but that has to do with all the tariffs that we're implementing. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but we really were getting shafted on a lot of trade deals, and all of our manufacturing and everything was outsourced, right? So like we just had no advantage in any of these sectors. We're the world's largest importer, and I don't think that's going to change. But if we could manufacture and have our stuff be comparable, the United States businesses could flourish more.
Do you know why?
Why what?
Like why, or have we never been good at manufacturing?
We are good at manufacturing, but the difference is labor laws and wages in an industrialized world.
So
like,
it kind of boils down to like how is a country comfortable with treating their inhabitants?
Yeah, right. Like think about it like this. I mean, think about all the places you see your clothes coming from, like Vietnam, for example. Like if it costs $100 a day to run a factory in the United States and it costs 85 in Vietnam, it makes more sense to make it over there.
It's like that book about the Nike sweatshop and stuff like that, yeah.
Right. But if you slap a 20% tariff on there, all of a sudden the sweatshop in Vietnam, their goods are going to cost
the same,
like $3 more or whatever it is, right? So it makes our industries more comparable.
Yep.
So not only that, it's allowing us to make our businesses more, I guess, comparable on the world stage, but also it's allowing us to reshore. So all of these businesses are coming back here. So again, fortress mindset. We want to have our supply chain not be dependent on other countries. We want to be able to do everything we want to do here. And third reason with that is just take a guess. How much revenue do you think tariffs netted in the United States last year? Just in 1 year.
Oh, jeez, dude, I have no clue.
Random guess.
$5 million.
280 billion, which is most. It's more than Brazil and Canada's GDPs. And that's what we made off tariffs.
That's crazy.
Yep, so it's a huge revenue stream for the government as well, which is obviously going to help.
The cost does get pushed to the consumer, though.
I mean, things are going to get more expensive, but, like, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, if you buy American, you were always paying those prices regardless. And if you buy foreign, now you're pretty much just paying the prices for American goods, right? So it's like prices will go up in the short term, but once manufacturing gets reshored and supply chains get more localized, things will become cheaper. Because right now, like, yes, it's getting passed on because of tariffs and nobody's like adjusting to it. But 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, when everything's localized and you aren't paying those tariffs and things are being produced over here, it will net come down.
Right.
Not an economist, but that's my opinion of it. The second thing for Plan 2027, though, is a lot of it has to do with AI. So I'm sure you've probably heard somewhat about how a lot of countries are moving away from using the dollar as the kind of like the universal currency.
I heard that years ago. That was when I got into Bitcoin, but yeah.
So not even that.
I heard it like, that's what I'm saying. Like I heard it probably 2020 or 2019 even.
Yeah.
But then I feel like I haven't heard about it since.
So it's a big thing that's happening right now, but a lot of it doesn't even have to do with cryptos. It's more so just like post World War II, I forget the name of the agreement, but it basically said that the entire world is going to operate off the dollar. Like if you're trading oil from
Yes,
Laos
it's
or something, you're
everything's
trading in the dollar.
based off of the dollar
Yeah, but like a lot
because
of
the dollar holds its value the best out of everything else. Pretty
right.
much.
Despite us moving off the gold standard and it becoming a fiat currency, it's based on nothing. But regardless, though, now a lot of countries are using the Chinese yuan, and a lot of countries, like the countries in, um, oh God, I forget what it's called, but it's like the oil owning countries. So it's like Saudi
Venezuela.
Arabia and all those countries, not
Mm-hmm.
Venezuela, but it's a lot of like the powerful Middle East oil countries.
Yeah.
They're starting to use their own local currencies and breaking off from the dollar when they trade and stuff like that. So the United States is looking at all of this and they're saying like, well, we can't force these countries to use our currency because we're not going to use hard power. Like we're not going to invade them. But what we can do is invest in our like technology sector. So you saw that they basically have a 10% hold in Intel now,
Yeah.
and they're doing that with a lot of other companies, and they're funding all of these private technology companies to boost our AI infrastructure as much as possible. So yeah, you can switch off the dollar if you want, but do you want access to the best AI? And they call it the best, or they call it the AI stack, right? So the stack is software, hardware, and infrastructure. And all of these countries, like I mean, no country's better than
Nobody
the
has
United
the
States.
infrastructure is the issue.
Well, we build it up for them. So right now, the United States is offering this because obviously we're building up
We
like
have to
all
build
these
ours
data centers
first.
and everything. We
Yeah,
are
yeah.
rapidly. But so like we're offering all these countries like, do you want access to the best of the best, right? And like everything like right now runs off the United States financial system. It's called SWIFT, and that's like all the currency kind of goes in and out through like when anything's like bought, traded, sold, anything like that. But we're offering them the US AI stack. It's better than anything in the world. We'll set up your infrastructure, we'll give you the software, we'll give you the hardware, and you can run more efficiently than anybody. So that way, it's more of like a soft power, right? Like you don't have to trade
But
in the
we can
dollar.
control it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to trade off the dollar, but you can trade on your own currency, and if you wrong us, we own the software that your currency is traded on. We can just shut that
Yeah.
off, right? So like do you really own your money if the software that you're trading it on is owned by the United States? So that's kind of the second thing. And one
Well,
quick
it's like Robin Hood, dude. It's like,
right.
do you really own it if you don't have the key? Well, like, I would hope so. I paid all the money for it.
Right.
Um,
But quick side note with that, because I thought this was interesting with all the AI data centers or like the whatever it's called that we're building, the huge, massive infrastructures that we're building that take up a bunch of energy. So it got me looking into nuclear power. And you know how like the huge thing with nuclear, everybody thinks that it's unsafe.
yeah.
There's only been like 20 confirmed deaths from nuclear power of all time,
Well,
including Chernobyl, including 3 Mile Island, including like all of them. And all the people that died were in pretty much direct contact with the
Right.
reactor when it exploded.
Right. Okay, so I have two things to say. One, I know what you're saying. I don't know if this can all happen by 2027. Like I realized
No,
when I
it's
was
not.
leaving my recruiting job, we were hiring thousands of people to upgrade the grid. Our grid that they made however long ago, basically grid, aka the electrical underground system that brings power to all the places in America, is extremely outdated. And they got huge government grants last year to go around and upgrade all of it.
So this is what I'm getting into though with all those infrastructures. It's about the nuclear power.
Well, right. So that was my first point. Is I think it's just going to take a long time. My second point is, yes, I don't know. I don't really know the whole history of how bad nuclear is. Blah blah blah. But what I will say is it's very secretive, obviously, because it's very powerful. I had a guy that I hired, and I was actually just talking about this, but he got interviewed by the CIA, or it was either CIA or FBI or something, and he got a job as a chemical engineer to work at a nuclear power plant. And like I got a call from the FBI that was like, "Can you confirm that he worked there these dates?" And like all of his friends, he was like, I had friends that would literally the FBI would fly to their house and they would sit down and interview them for like hours and just be like, what did he do when he was growing up? What did he do when he was here? And he was like, I thought I was just going to be a chemical engineer at a nuclear plant. Like,
Well, you know
it was
why
a
that is.
8-month process.
You
of
know
him
why
getting
that is
hired.
though.
You gotta trust those people. You have
because
to.
nuclear power can turn into nuclear weapons, and that's an incredibly safeguarded secret that we have.
Right.
So
I get it.
100%. But like nuclear power, it gets a bad rap, but it really is some of the most clean energy that you can possibly have, and it's some of the most efficient energy that you can have. The only emission that it releases is water vapor, and the only waste that it produces are very small traces of plutonium that they put in concrete blocks that you can just dispose of, and like it'll never reach outside of that concrete. Like you could go up to one of those concrete blocks and touch it and you're never gonna like get sick or anything like
Right,
that.
right.
So some interesting stuff with that. Like the people at Los Alamos, when they were making the nuclear bombs, those scientists, the smartest people in the world, were walking around with plutonium just in their lab coats. It's the smartest people in the world.
Yeah.
It's radio, like radioactivity and all that stuff. Like I'm no doctor, but it's not as dangerous as people think. And like one nuclear reactor, if they were to build it today, could power all of Brooklyn, Manhattan, and the Bronx. Just if it was close enough and if it was running at a normal function. Like it's some of the best, most efficient clean energy that you could have. But the point I'm making here is all those AI data centers they're putting in, it's called SMRs. So they're small small modular reactors. And so you know how like our entire submarine fleet is powered off of nuclear reactors right now?
Mm-mm.
So all of our submarine fleets and for the government and all of our aircraft carriers, they're all powered by these small nuclear reactors that can run nonstop for 70 years. They never have to go back to port to fuel. All they need is food and water dropped off for them. But their plan is to make kind of what do you call it? Like where everything's the same, kind of like standardized nuclear reactors where you can just plop them down. It's kind of like plug and play, and you can just make one of these modular reactors and place it next to a data center, so it doesn't have to use up so much of the power grid, and it's completely self-sufficient based off that energy.
Huh. Did you see? Sorry, this is a little off topic. Did you see that people are saying that there's so many injuries in San Francisco because it's right next to a data center or whatever?
Well, no, it's because it's by like the energy field. What do you call those? Like I don't know. It's because of like
plant or something.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
No.
Sorry.
But nuclear is super clean. So that's like a side note. But the AI stack's a big part of it. And then the third part of this has to do a lot with the space race. Kind of Space Force too. You know, remember Space Force when everyone laughed at it?
Yeah.
It's a real thing now.
Great show.
Yeah. Or well, the show, but also like the government agency that Trump opened.
Yeah.
So it's it's like a huge thing, and like it's basically I forget what they call it, like it's the lunar something, but it's the distance in between Earth and the moon, and the U.S. is very focused on controlling that because there's a lot of helium-3 on the moon, which is like a very rare but profitable I guess what do you call it, element that you can get there, and there's a lot of different minerals on the moon for mining, but also we want to create the moon to be some sort of like a launching pad for future missions to Mars or wherever else we want to go, so you can send something up there. Because the hardest part of getting into space is getting out of Earth's atmosphere. So if you can get something to the moon and then it can refuel, you can have all that fuel in a lighter craft going further and faster, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the third thing is controlling space. And like obviously we're doing Artemis 2, which it was supposed to launch today. I told Chris it was actually pretty cool. Somebody at my work shipped the equipment that tested the rocket and found a deficiency that they had to fix, which unfortunately it did delay the rocket, but obviously it's a good thing that they found it because it was like a hydrogen leak. But so the U.S. is trying to control that, and it's basically like it's going back to manifest destiny. They want to claim land rights and they want to have rules for operating on the moon because they want to control it. But also they did I think it was a $3 billion contract with SpaceX for their Starlink satellites that are going to orbit around the Earth. I think it was up to 600 satellites, and they have different objectives, but they also have a secondary function of being able to target and neutralize any nuclear weapon sent by any other country.
Yeah. There's movies where it's like, they failed, this one failed, that one failed. What movie? I just watched a movie where it's like somebody was attacked, like someone was about to bomb us, and then it was like, oh, this drone failed, the second one failed, the third one failed, the fourth one failed, the fifth one failed.
I'm not
I
sure.
forget what movie I was watching, but sorry.
But nuclear weapons, when they go off, they kind of like shoot up into space, and then they use the stars
We
to
basically
locate
need
themselves, and then
drones.
they
We
go
basically
down.
need drones to take them out.
Not even
You have to
drones,
like
the
hit it with
satellites.
something. You have to hit it with something.
Right.
Yeah.
So like those satellites, it's basically like a protective shield. So the United States is going now towards more so like it doesn't, we've lived in an era of mutually assured destruction, but now we're moving more so like it doesn't matter who has the best weapons. It matters who has the best defense. Like you can't touch us, but
Yeah.
we can defend ourselves and hit you, right?
But you can't look weak ever. Like sometimes I feel like maybe we just say that we have all this defense and we don't.
No, we do.
I'm just saying, man. Like it would be smart to say that we have the best defense ever. Even if we don't, we should say that we have 10 times better than we do.
I assure you, our military is leagues ahead of any other military. It's a billion times better than any other one. We're so far ahead of anybody else, and that comes with a lot of spending, which people, sometimes aren't too fond of, but it's good. But that's Plan 2027. I thought that was interesting, and it's kind of like the United States is shifting to different frontiers and more of like an isolationist approach. We want to be self-sufficient, and we want to move into new horizons. I thought it was interesting, and it makes me excited to see where we're going to go, especially for Artemis 2 once it launches in a month.
Yeah, so it's only a month delay.
Yeah, it's going to launch on March 6th, apparently now.
Oh.
Unless there's, further complications, but I don't think there will be.
All right, bro.
So, last topic. How are we looking on time?
About 5 to 8 minutes if we can.
All right, so the last topic is the plague. How familiar are you with the plague?
The old plague.
Yeah.
The Spanish plague.
No, the Spanish flu, but that's not what I'm
Spanish
talking
flu.
about. I'm talking about the bubonic plague spread by
A little bit. That's when they wore
rats
those
that had fleas.
crazy ass masks.
You know why they wore those?
Those were like doctor masks, weren't they? Yeah.
So they had the long beaks on them because they would put like rose petals and like a bunch of different like herbs in them because they thought that diseases were spread by the smell. So they thought if something smelt foul,
That's
it would
what
get
I
you
would have
sick.
thought before, like new era science.
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh, this person smells bad. I'm gonna get sick by him.
Yeah, but they thought that if they just smelled good stuff, it would save them from getting
That's
sick
funny.
from it.
I didn't know that.
But there were two main different bubonic plague epidemics. The first one was, I believe, in that year 800 or like the 800s, I guess. And that wiped out 13% of the world population, right? So that was bad. It wasn't like cataclysmic and the world kind of like kept on their same system.
Yeah.
But then in the 1300s, it came back worse. It knocked off 60% of Europe and 40% of the global world population. So the equivalent...
How much? 40% of global in the 1600s?
1300s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
I think I did know that.
The equivalent would be if 3.2 billion people died today within the span of 5 years. Like, that's how bad it was. Yeah. And back then, all of Europe and Asia pretty much ran on, it's called the feudal system.
What's
Are you
that?
familiar?
No.
So the feudal system is basically where one king or a monarch owns all of the land. But to keep his power, he kind of like parcels off the land and he'll give it to lords. And he'll let them kind of like rule over the land and rule over the peasants in that land. But in return, they have to provide him with military service should he ever need it. Okay. And that leads down to serfdom or serfs, which are the peasants, and they're tied to the land. They can't leave the land and they have to serve their lord and most times work unpaid labor and just in horrible conditions and pay heavy taxes just so the lords can kind of like get their return for the land that they own. It's like a very extractive economic system where like all the money's funneling towards the top.
Yeah,
right?
It's like slavery before it was even a thing.
After. I mean, slavery's been around forever.
I thought you said that was 1300s.
Dude, slavery's been around for as long as humans have been around. Like, this is when, like, most...
Well, isn't that basically just a form of slavery? Unpaid labor for...
Well, it's like... It was like taxation, but yeah, kind of. It wasn't too dissimilar from slavery. But yeah, so that's how most of, like, Europe and everything operated until the plague, where so much of the workforce was wiped out that in order to keep society functioning properly, they needed to entice peasants to come work for them, which meant higher wages, more power, and everything like that. So that's what most of Western Europe did. And that's how most of Western Europe became to look like how it looks now, with more like capitalist and democratic republic type monarchies or parliamentary systems, because the peasants were able to gain power, get higher wages so they could own land and have a say in the government. But what happened in Russia was they kind of doubled down when the plague happened. They were like, there's less people, so we can just tighten our grip on them and just make them have less rights and work for cheaper and all this stuff. So this kind of boiled over for the next, I guess, 600 years. And it was like Russia in the late 1800s was super backwards. Like they were a monarchy, and they basically just had no technology from any outside area. It was just farm areas everywhere where just the rich were getting richer, and it just kept on getting worse. And when the Industrial Revolution happened, they did not want to bring any of that technology in because that meant that the wages and the quality of life for all the peasants would just go up, right? Which meant that they had a chance of losing their power. So they kept all of that stuff out. And then kind of during like World War One, and I think they lost a war to Japan as well, which kind of made them realize like, all right, we have to industrialize because our military assets and our logistics for our military are just so poor that we cannot stand to face the rest of the world. So
Okay.
this is where the Soviet Union kind of comes in, because everybody in the country kind of realized like, yo, we're in a really bad spot. All the peasants like hated the government, and this is post World War One, where they were able to kind of curtail Germany, but they realized like this is when like Lenin came into power, but then he had a heart attack or something and died, and so Stalin took over. And Stalin has a very famous speech where he says, "If we don't," or he was like, "The rest of the modernized world is 50 to 100 years ahead of us. If we don't catch up in 10 years, they'll crush us." And 10 years to the day of that speech is when Germany invaded Russia.
Whoa.
Pretty crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
So, but a lot of that left or led to kind of like the communist ideals of their economy, where they kind of seized every business, every piece of farmland, and it was all
Right.
government
So that's
ran.
just to prove that they have power, to prove that they can.
No, that's what communism is.
Well, yeah. Like
So
yeah.
it's
You're
all
trying
about collectivism, and so they seized everything. And they control every input and every output, right? So, like, the whole thing with communism, basically, or at least in the Soviet Union, it's guaranteed jobs. So a lot of times these factories would have twice as many workers as their exact counterparts in the United States would have. So unnecessary workers, right? And then also they would keep prices super low to make the population happy. So everything was constantly sold out. But the biggest downfall of it was they took away the farmlands from the skilled farmers that were making all the food for the Soviet Union, and they put them all on communal farmlands where they could try and be more efficient. But that led to a great famine that ended up killing about 12 million people.
Damn.
Yeah, I
That's
think
crazy.
they estimate under Stalin's command, between the famines and the people that he purposely killed, I think it's like 20 million people that he killed under his like communist regime, because there wasn't food to go around, and also like he was super persecutive, I believe is the word, but he was killing a lot of Christians because it wasn't the mandated religion of the government. He was killing a bunch of just the peasants that wouldn't give up their land, or anybody that didn't conform. So the
Dang.
end of the story is that the plague ended up in the Soviet Union, which, I mean, they were thriving for a period, but communism is always destined to fail.
That's crazy. So really, without communism, they wouldn't have had the plague. That's what you're
Reverse,
saying.
reverse.
Without the plague, they wouldn't have communism.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it was basically like the plague enabled them to like weaken their peasant force to such a level to where like they could just tighten their grip on them to make them more subservient.
yeah.
But
I guess
also
that's how
like,
you look at it. Because I was gonna say like, without being able to weaken them, without
yeah,
being in that position to be able, then you couldn't have. But yeah.
yeah, but like more so like it got to the point during like they like all the other countries like modernized and made their economies more inclusive, but Russia continually kept out the Industrial Revolution because they wanted to keep onto that feudal system that they lingered onto from the plague, until they literally couldn't anymore, because they understood the fact that their military would get crushed if they didn't. So that's like everybody was kind of like on board with like, okay, we need a strong government that can push us 100 years into the future within the span of 10 years and take total control.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, bro. That
Pretty
shit's
interesting, right?
Very, very. Well, that's gonna do it, ladies and gents. That's gonna do it.
What an episode. A lot of deep topics today.
You know what? I don't know why I was kind of, my brain was kind of lingering towards the end there, but
Were you even listening?
there was like three things going through my head. Like we set up my camera on this box of containers that you put popcorn in. I didn't even know I had this. And we've used this for like 8 weeks. I didn't even know, I've never used this popcorn thing. And I should use it. Like you just put popcorn in there. It's probably a good idea. So that was going through my head. I was also thinking like, just to wrap things up, we do want to have guests this year. I think we can now with the mics, and I want to get people on and just start changing things up a little bit too.
We could have Noah's communist ass on to debate me.
I want to do shit like when we were eating those grapes last year.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And just some challenges and some stuff like that. Just break it up a little. But no, I mean, it's a Friday night, dude. We're just so happy to be here again. Just a pleasure to hang out with you guys, and we love recording. We love doing this. We're going to keep it rolling. We're going to have a great 2026, a healthy year. I'm down 15 this year. Joe's down, it's more than 12, right? What?
17.
17, yeah. So we're getting in shape while we're drinking this year. But I was thinking what I think would be cool to do to have people on after their weddings. Wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah.
Like have Pat on a week or two after his wedding, have Josh on. Yeah, we can eventually have Nick on a little bit. I would love to have Nick on multiple times too. Like we should just start getting repeats. Do you think if we had people on, this is a little sidetrack, but would we let them just rip the old shitty mics and then we use the real mics? What do we do? Hey, record this on your.
You and me share one, and we just have our faces like scrunched against each other, and they have the other mic.
We are gonna have a setting change halfway through the year. Not even halfway, just in a couple months.
Pretty soon.
We'll definitely have a setting change. We're trying to find some chairs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for that too. But no, it's. I hope you guys like it. Give us feedback. Give us advice. If you made it this far, obviously drop a like, comment, subscribe. Tell your brother to subscribe. Throw us on your TV.
Mm-hmm. I was just randomly reminded of this, but you know the chicken across the road?
How come?
Because.
Now my wallet won't fold. Could afford a little break from all those tracks that I sold.
Love you guys.
And I might have on the beat. Turn these bars straight to gold.